connection. And Shiksha gurus are actually your day to day, who is, mentor you, who give you the knowledge. And it doesn't even have to be a guru. It's not just your mind, it's called. What's up, brother? What's going on? How's life? Yeah, you're happy.
3 weeks.
You didn't anything for the summer?
I entered.
Did you go to the TSA? Yeah, I wasn't good. So good, Grish. So good. You just keep exploring it and let your heart,
Yeah. Yeah.
It's less about inspiration and it's more about who you willing to surrender.
I will. Apologies for the lateness. So I'll start with that. Yeah, it took me almost an hour to get here today.
Really?
Yeah. So it looks like I'm not the only one, so that works out well.
Yeah, right.
So today I was thinking it would be a nice exercise. How many of us were here last week? Okay. Most, but not all. So last week, Sumitra had a very nice topic on the lessons from the tree, so tolerance. And I wanted to take today as an opportunity to go a little bit deeper into tolerance. We spent a lot of time on one verse in particular from the Bhagavad Gita. It was 2:14, which is, the non-permanent appearance of happiness and distress and their disappearance in due course are like the appearance and disappearance of winter and summer seasons. They arise from sense perception, and one must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed. So like, tolerate, not disturbed. So for those of you that weren't here last week, please feel free also to chime in. But I just wanted to regroup some ideas of tolerance. So what does tolerance mean to you? What kind of understandings did you walk away with and reflect on? One sentence coming to mind is, or that might be coming to mind is, I have to tolerate 45 more minutes of this before I get my dinner. Tolerance.
My takeaway was, it's almost look at it as selfish or selfless. So tolerance to me is like selflessness. Whereas because you're giving into the circumstance that is, so you don't necessarily have control. So you're not trying to control what's right for me. So whatever is happening, right? So to me, it's almost like it takes me away from being self-centered to more of like, okay, this is what's happening, regardless of the situation. And so I give in to my wants to somebody else's wants or some event's wants.
Okay. That's a nice idea, a nice component. What else?
I think the way I found tolerance was to be okay with things, I think. In continuous with what Prabhu was saying, no matter what is going on, like you said, the different seasons in life, it's just being okay with it, even though it's difficult, because after like a storm of emotions, you find calm and you find that it's okay that we're going through whatever we are. And spring will come.
Spring will come, but we're not sure when. Nice. Any other thoughts on tolerance?
I think it's exactly the same thing that both of them spoke about. Taking things with a pinch of salt and embracing both the hill and the valley equally, so that you become stronger, better, and giver. Like tree becomes stronger with tolerance, so that's why it's able to give a lot more. So that was something.
I want to challenge the idea that you're presenting. There is the phrase, whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Oh,
but there's...
Then you won't be a giver. Like, what I'm trying to say is the stronger you are able to like withhold without blaming the exterior situations, the better you are as a giver. So.
Okay. I follow that. I was gonna. No, I was gonna.
Yeah.
Tolerating it.
You should. It could be another way. Is like be accepting the outcomes or circumstances maybe that you don't really want, right? Like so, that's basically to me, it's like, okay, so something's happening. It's not what I want. Accepting it.
Yes. Now comes possibly the harder question, but we're a bright group, so maybe it's not harder. Maybe it's just me that found it harder. With these concepts of tolerance, we talked about what it means. For tolerance to be practiced, what does it require? Okay, I heard patience.
The visual of a tree is very beautiful. I feel it's like strengthening your roots is what makes you more tolerant as a tree. But if you want me to translate into human skills, I don't know.
Okay, so grounded or anchored, patience. You were
I was
going to
gonna say humble.
humble. Okay, humility. Yeah, there are things outside of my control.
Empathy.
Empathy. Expand on that.
I mean, how can you be tolerant of someone if you're not empathetic? Not just of someone or of any situation. If you approach it with a curious mindset and you're empathetic about it, you can understand it more and it won't be more about your feelings, but rather about the situation itself.
Now, this might inspire some other thoughts, but do we, like the collective royal we, do we always act according to this mood of, I'm more grounded, this is helping me become stronger, I am an empathic individual? Okay, some giggles, which means everyone says resounding yes.
We tried.
We tried. So what gets in the way?
Ego.
Okay, yeah, there's the element of ego.
What about the fact that the soil that you're in is important? Again, I can't walk away from the tree picture, so please.
It's a great analogy, so run with it.
What about the soil? What about the nutrition that it is getting or not getting? There's just so much. You can't just blame the tree for like flailing in the wind because.
Ah. Okay, so there's the aspect of what are the inputs that support my strength to be able to tolerate. Others thoughts. I thought I saw a hand out of my
What was
periphery.
the question again? I'm sorry.
Oh, so what kind of ingredients are necessary for tolerance to manifest?
I don't know, but it's a guess. For me, detachment.
Hmm. You want to expand on that? It's a nice word, and it's
I'm
very
able to
appropriate for
put it in
this.
right words, but the more attached I am to things and situations, the less is my tolerance and the less I'm kind to myself.
Hmm.
So the more I look at it in a perspective of happenings, just these are all happenings, and me and I and everything is the same. So like the more and more I go farther away from those primary feelings, emotions, and etc., I think that's when I start building tolerance. So
Hmm.
that's my
That's a really huge point that you're bringing up, because when you're talking about detachment, we've talked about this in multiple sessions about the sense of identity and also the weight of expectations, like the unwritten kind of social expectations of this is what life is supposed to look like. I go to school, I get a job, I buy a house, I get married, I star in a film, whatever it might be for each individual. But there's a certain expectation of what life owes me. And when things don't work out that way, not necessarily in a bad way, it's just best laid plans all have their shortcomings and detours. That without being able to detach from that, it forms a very rigid kind of foundation of supposed to versus is. So thank you for bringing that up. I think I saw your hand home. I didn't see your home here. Okay. All right. So
I think I just had a question about that aspect of tolerance and detachment.
okay.
I mean, whatever I said was the ideal state, but it's very hard to achieve that true detachment
Yes.
when I'm attached to the materialistic world and my expectations are so attached. So those attachments again test my tolerance to the
Mm.
max capability, because I don't think, I'm still understanding what life is. So I'm not at the point of understanding what a true detachment means.
Mm.
So just saying it's an ideal state and it's not something.
That's a really nice transition of what you're bringing up, because there's a huge amount of self-honesty that is required. Like for those of us that giggled and smirked and realized we're not the personification of that verse in the Bhagavad Gita, like it's honest. That's where we're at. And that's okay too. So I'm gonna call on, yeah, come on. You're just in time for the performance. I'm gonna call in my good friend Bishop to come up. We had prepared, I say very loosely. Sorry, I couldn't find the lab coat,
Oh,
so
man.
I made you this.
So just put it on me.
Yes,
Yes, let's go.
okay. So you're on. So this is Dr. Rao,
Oh, okay.
yes. And I am seeking his help. Okay.
Hi, Mr. Suda. How are you? You don't seem so well.
Yeah, I've got some indigestion. I think I need some help. Yeah. I'm just not feeling.
Can I have a look at you first before we go and decide if it's
No,
indigestion?
it's indigestion.
Is your stomach hurting?
Yes, my stomach
Are you
is
sure?
hurting. Yes, my stomach is hurting. Give me some medicine for my stomach.
I think it may be your leg. Let's have a look at it.
My
just to
leg
be
is
sure.
fine. No, I am paying you, or my insurance is paying, somebody is paying you to look at my stomach.
Insurance is gonna cover your X-ray. Let's have a look at it just just to be safe.
Ugh.
Cover all our bases.
I need a 12th opinion. You're no good. Okay, thank you.
That was really good acting. Are you a theater teacher?
I like it, yeah.
I see blood pressure against it.
Yes. So, now it's your turn to diagnose. What happened there? You don't have to give the medical condition or anything like that. But what did you observe in the interaction?
Inability to accept help.
Okay, inability to accept help,
Demand.
demand, denial,
No
yeah.
surrender.
Huh?
No surrender. I mean, he's going to the doctor and he's still thinking I'm the smartest guy here.
Yes,
Sure,
yes.
let the expert be resolved.
Yes. So there was a block in an honest exchange. And the doctor, trying his best, was still trying to treat the patient with what he understood as the most severe or acute symptom, rather than what I'm saying, this is what I need and this is what I'm about. So what happens to me as the patient? Do I make any progress? No. I'm stuck exactly where I am because I'm presenting something that actually isn't the real situation. And I'm expecting help and relief from somebody that I'm not allowing to help me from where I'm actually at. Make sense? So it was just to drive the idea that honesty is so important when we're on this spiritualist journey, this path of tolerance, acceptance. So there's inherently a trusting relationship that's required. In the spiritual process, we have our spiritual texts, we have spiritual teachers, we have friends on the spiritual path that can help us to be like, bro, your leg needs help, forget the stomach. Because it's all based on faith. Where are we placing our faith? So I go to a doctor with the faith in their credentials, the quality of their ability to assess, to diagnose, and to support me in my journey to returning to a healthier state. And spiritual life is no different. Yet, when we, growing up in a mostly Christian sort of Jewish background, it's like when you go to the place of worship, it's like you're on your best behavior. There's the phrase, your Sunday best. Look your best, be your best. You're in the house of God. And then as soon as the service is over, like, okay, loosen the tie, do whatever you want until the next week rolls around. Is that an honest platform? So the title of today's talk of See Yourself Grow, there's actually a break in there. In order to see myself grow, I first have to see myself, and then I can grow. Yes?
Yes.
With me? Okay. I was so excited by that play on words. I just had to throw it in. And so, in a spiritual journey, why might it be so difficult to have an open or honest relationship with, let's say, somebody that is a spiritual authority, is in many cases taking responsibility for supporting us in our spiritual journey? Why is it so hard to honestly act in that relationship? Or if it's easy for you, that's amazing, and we can talk about that as well. But based on my own experience and talking with many other people, it is a hard process. Why do you think it's so hard to be honest?
When you're honest, your true inner problems actually become real, rather than just putting them inside, pushing them down. If you're not honest with yourself, then those issues aren't necessarily real yet. But when you're honest with yourself, you know where you are.
Like, if I don't say it, as far as I'm aware, it's just in my head, and maybe it'll kind of just go away on its own and nobody will ever notice, kind of a thing. Yeah. What else? Okay.
We always envision ourselves better than we actually are.
Yeah.
And so, so being completely honest, it would become vulnerable to the fact that, oh my gosh, I'm really is not far along as I think I am.
Yeah.
That's just a natural human instinct.
Yeah. There's an awareness of our limitations, absolutely. How many of us have ever had our trust broken? Pretty much everybody here. It's not a fun situation. Somebody shared something, we asked them to keep in confidence. Somebody didn't do something that we'd asked them to do. Whatever it might be. It doesn't feel good, and it leaves a mark. And so the other part is, if 99.99% of my interactions with people have that same frailty, why should the spiritual teacher be any different? That's how I would look at it, with that kind of a mindset, with that experience. And so it's important that we not just blindly trust, blindly follow, blindly hear, but test the waters and gradually, in a very kind of systematic way, go deeper. And when you're not comfortable with that depth, you step back. And then as the spiritual practice kind of just works its magic, I'll say it that way, but there's a lot behind that. And we start to get more comfortable, our maturity increases, then we can do a little bit more and really learn to trust ourselves as well as that guide, that mentor in the spiritual process. Look like one.
Yeah, it's funny. It's we're not prepared. We want, as human beings, we want our beliefs to be reinforced. And so if we're completely honest and we trust a spiritual mentor or teacher or guru or whatever, he's going to tell us things that are in conflict of our beliefs. And that's a huge hurdle for young people, not even young people, for anybody, to have your beliefs challenged, right? Especially if they're core to you.
Yeah.
To somebody say, actually, just this is a little different than that. That is a huge mental block to get through.
Yes. Yeah, the patient didn't like being told his leg was the problem, not his stomach.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah,
And
so we don't want to know the truth.
mm,
That's why we resist. It's a psychological phenomena of our beliefs. What is that?
that gets strict. Anosognosia.
Yeah.
The lack of awareness that something is even wrong. That is a medical phenomenon, especially in the behavioral health space of people have these conditions and they, with all sincerity, believe they are Jesus Christ. And you can't convince them otherwise when most of the world sees it very differently. So there's something there, but just inability, lack of awareness, or lack of desire, whatever it might be, a whole spectrum of reasons, of my inability to confront that reality. So with all of these difficulties with an honest relationship, I mean, fear of judgment, in addition to broken trust, is also there. That I still, like Pradumna, what you were talking about with the ego, I have this sense of who I am. So Mohit, Prabhu, you were bringing up that point as well. I have this sense of who I am, and I can't handle that being challenged. Think of mechanisms like defensiveness, or wanting to portray myself in a certain way that is not aligned with the person I honestly am at this stage. The interesting thing is, Krishna's inside each of us as well. So we may think we can hide from the world, everyone around us, and most of the time that's actually not true. We're actually much lousier people at hiding things than we would like to believe. But there's the illusion of hiding, but Krishna is inside each of us. So in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, 1861, the Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart, O Arjuna, and is directing the wanderings of all living entities who are seated as on a machine made of the material energy. So I'll read that once more and just ask you to just reflect on that statement. The Supreme Lord situated in everyone's heart, O Arjuna, and is directing the wanderings of all living entities who are seated as on a machine made of the material energy. So the cool thing that we can reflect on is, let's think of, for a moment, just individual exercise, of a moment where you felt the presence of God in your life. And I'm sure we're all here, so we've had that experience at least. And now let's think of a moment where we maybe said something or did something that we're not particularly proud of. And in your mind's eye, reenact that moment, and then see Krishna enter the scene, witnessing it. What do you think about that? How do you feel understanding that someone is there?
Embarrassed.
Glad, embarrassed, okay. Yeah, it could be a whole mix of feelings. But the cool thing is, it's described here that we're like, the soul is sitting in this material machine. So even those experiences that we may feel really proud of or less than proud of, that's not actually who we are. That's just the interaction of the body with matter and other souls that are embodied in matter and are interacting in the world around them. And that doesn't change our opportunity for a loving relationship. So the cool thing is that the relationship is always there, no matter, if we got straight A's or straight E's or F's or whatever system they use, I forgot. But that doesn't matter, but it's an equal opportunity relationship. And so I want us to do another exercise. This is an individual exercise, individual yet collective. Because keeping in mind all of the things that we've done in our lives so far, all the things we've said, both the highs and lows, and the understanding that there is Krishna inside us as well, in addition to the soul. I want us to take a moment to take out your phones. Does everyone have a phone that has battery life? Okay. So I want you all to go into your camera apps. Now, I'm looking at all of you. Go into your camera apps and put it on selfie mode. Some of us it's easier to do, some of us it's harder to do, but I'll request if you all can do it. And for the next minute, just look at yourself. Yeah, I'll do it too. I won't let myself off the hook. All right, hold on, I just gotta open it. So in that selfie mode, I want you to notice your hair, in my case, receding hair. Look at your forehead. Maybe your nose. And then if you have glasses, if you're able to, take them off. Because I'm going to ask you now to just, as much as possible, look into your eyes. Mentally note how you feel as you're doing this exercise. Just look into the depths of your eyes. Are you comfortable with what you see? Are you happy with what you see? Do doubts come up? Do you feel scared, confused, worried, joyful, etc.? Just really tune into how you feel when you look at yourself in the eye. Now continue looking at yourselves in the eye while I read this meditation inspired by Bhagavad Gita 2:23 and 24. This body is the perfect vehicle to help me restore my relationship with Krishna. The soul that is me can never be cut to pieces by any weapon, nor burned by fire, nor moistened by water, nor withered by the wind. This individual soul is unbreakable and insoluble, and can be neither burned nor dried. The soul is everlasting, present everywhere, unchangeable, immovable, and eternally the same. My situation is perfect for my advancement on this spiritual path. Now take a new look again in your eyes. And with that meditation in mind, repeat these words. I am doing my best. I am doing my best. I approve myself. I approve myself. You can put your phones down now. How does that feel? Would anyone like to share? Like, did you notice a difference before and after? Was it uncomfortable? How many of us found the exercise very awkward or uncomfortable? Yeah. Yeah.
The start was like that, but when you spoke about the part where it was about I and Krishna, that's when I started to feel calm, relieved, and confident. And until then, I was like, look at myself, what am I doing? And I'm like, I couldn't first of all see myself. That's interesting. And then, like, when you started saying that, I'm like, yeah, I am the perfect vessel. I am doing well. And that gave me a lot more, exactly, self-confidence, really.
Nice, thank you for sharing that. Anyone else? So it's an interesting exercise because we're talking about self-honesty, but we're also saying that even just looking at ourselves is such an uncomfortable experience. So we're on this journey. Yes.
I feel like I've been carrying a lot of pain, and when you said all those nice things, momentarily there was this sense of relief. I didn't expect that from you once like that. Thank you.
Most welcome. It's true. It's true. That's the nice thing. We can honestly say this. Even if maybe it doesn't come from like a core belief, there's truth to it. And by meditating on it and other aspects like the chanting, the kirtan, we can gradually come to understand more and more that it is true and feel that sense of peace without even saying it. The other interesting thing is, when we talk about self-honesty, there's a tendency for a binary. I am a good person. I am a bad person. I am generally a happy person. I am sad. I am kind. I am mean, etc. This is a material body. And one of the inherent qualities of material nature is duality. So this opens the door to the acceptance portion that we can be both a good friend and a bad friend. We can be a sincere spiritual practitioner as well as moments of insincerity or less than, let's say, ideal strength or a trajectory or whatever it might be. It's part of the body. The only thing that we can really stand by is, am I taking even a small step forward in the direction to becoming that person that I believe I can be and want to be? Do we believe that though? Yes.
I think the aspect where you mentioned that, I mean, I might be wrong with the way that I'm putting the words together, but like, right vessel spirituality, that made, I mean, personal perspective, that made me feel that I don't need to have any example of what does that path look like because I am unique to myself. Because if that was, I am the vessel for probably project manager or product designer, I'd be like, oh, how does that look like? Like, who is that person who I can relate to? And it becomes very difficult to do that. But this was like, I am a unique identity in this matter. So,
yeah, the capacity is inherent. It's described even in our literatures as, it's like how a toddler or a baby knows how to walk, or has that capacity to walk, I should say. And they just need guidance and support to realize that innate ability. Similarly, we're all spiritual beings, spirit, soul, and that's where the importance of scripture, of guides comes in to help us realize that inherent capacity to fulfill the capabilities of this perfect vessel. Nice, thank you so much for sharing that. So there's standards of given in the Bhagavad Gita, and the cool thing about the Bhagavad Gita is that Arjuna is kind of the ultimate spiritualist in the journey. He starts in the beginning, questioning his duty, seeing everything from a very kind of short-term avoidance of war perspective. And by the end of it, he has come to fully understand the nature of the soul, the nature of God, the nature of time, the nature of this world, etc. And it wasn't a linear like, okay, now I'm here, now I'm here, now I'm here. Arjuna kept asking some questions in repeated basis. Like there were some themes that he kept going back to that were more difficult to understand and accept than others. And so if we're looking at somebody like Arjuna having that kind of difficulty, part of this self-acceptance as a way to grow also means being kind to ourselves. Just accepting that, similar to the idea of an honest, trusting relationship with a spiritual guide, we are in a situation where we're going to be challenged by our previous habits, our way of doing things. For example, growing up, I ate anything. Jokingly, I'll say it was the seafood diet. Whatever I see is food. Like, don't ask me for specifics because there's some I'm not very proud of, but I was the adventurous eater. And then to change to vegetarian, gradual, took time. And likewise, I'm sure we all have different things that we would like to see in ourselves developmentally. And maybe we're not there, we're on our way. And so just be kind to yourself that it takes time. It takes a community of support. It takes especially the support of a spiritual process to keep us deeply rooted. So going back to the tree example. Because otherwise, without those deep roots, without that deep foundation, what happens to a tree with no depth in a strong storm? Yeah, it fails, it collapses. And so part of this is about asking myself, what can I sustainably do? It's not I'm doing it or I'm not doing it, it's I'm trying to do it. So the phrase that this is often described as of bhakti yoga is sadhana bhakti, or bhakti in practice. We're trying. We're trying to serve Krishna, we're trying to chant, we're trying to eat prasadam, we're trying to do all these things. And the idea is just gradually we do more and more and more in a way that feels natural, sustainable. Like physical therapy. How many of us have ever had the good fortune of going through physical therapy? Okay, yeah. So the stretches are meant to hurt a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit to kind of push the limit, test the limit. And then when you finally achieve that, okay, then they push a little bit more, stretch a little bit more, do a few more reps, etc., to help the body get stronger. And spiritual life is very much like that. So we're encouraged, if you have the good fortune to have a formal mentor or a group of friends that can support you in this journey, of how can we take the next step? Maybe it's chanting individually on your beads for the first time, or maybe it's doing it instead of 5 minutes a day or 1 minute a day, it's doing it 10 minutes a day, whatever it might look like. But just taking that little bit of step so that we feel the stretch, but we can sustain the stretch as well. Make sense? And so that's where it comes down to, there are these opportunities. So the cool thing about Vedic Vision Society is it's a very open space, in the sense of it doesn't matter what your degree is, or your job situation, or where you're from. We're a group of people who want to grow spiritually together. And we have some ideas on how to do it and ways to support each other. And we have, hopefully, I'd like to think, a good time at it. And at least we get a good meal out of it. But the important thing is that, and this was inspired by a conversation I had last Friday here, that we also see ourselves as that perfect vessel from wherever we're at in this journey. So if you have questions, you're probably not the only one thinking of that question. And so encourage, speak up, ask, clarify, challenge, because that's what it's meant to be. It's meant to be a change of heart with a foundation of awareness, understanding, scriptural foundation. So it's a combination of the head and the heart. Looks like you want to say something.
Oh.
No? Okay. So I'm going to close off with that. And maybe if there's some discussion, maybe we can continue it over the dinner. But I want to transition to the kirtan, if we can do a few more minutes of that. Are you okay with that? Yes? Okay. To get this mood of acceptance, self-honesty, even in the realm of kirtan, because some of us have a very musical inclination. Some of us might put braying donkeys to shame. Not saying anybody here, but there's a whole spectrum of musical capabilities and inclinations. But the cool thing is, in a sense, that doesn't matter. What matters is we're here invested with our hearts, with this common meditation, this common petition to help to Krishna, to help us advance even just a little bit further along this spiritual journey. So if you wouldn't mind just entering the mood of this kirtan that Girish will lead us in. Girish, you're leading it, or somebody? Okay, Girish. Enter it in a mood with just that desire to accept ourselves in the way that we know Krishna accepts us already. So, Hare Krishna. Yes. Thank you so much. So one other thing we can think of is as we learn to accept ourselves in the same, to whatever degree we have that capacity, we'll find that our empathy naturally grows as well when we can start to see others in a similarly kind way in their own unique trajectory toward Krishna. And that's how we can develop real tolerance, not just gritting our teeth and sucking it up and saying, I'll take the high road, but genuinely seeing that other soul for what it is. So thank you so much. Bye, Krishna. A few brief announcements. On Monday and Tuesday this week, we have 2 special events. Normally we meet Fridays, but also Monday evening at Krishna House, we are having a special session on Lord Shiva. For those of you that might be interested, that's taking place at 7 o'clock at Krishna House. More information will be posted on the VVS group. So if you're interested and not on the WhatsApp group already, please raise your hands for who can help with that request. There's more people than that. Really? Okay, I could also help too. Please make sure you get added. And then Tuesday evening, there's going to be a virtual session about Vishnu Tattva. So the different kind of forms and expansions, and it's a topic. And that's going to be on Zoom. And for more details, you'd be able to furnish that, or it'll be on the group as well.
Yeah, no, well, I'm gonna put it in the group. I'm just really excited about it, guys. It's a Vishnu Tattva, but the title that I'm contemplating is Who's the Supreme Personality, Godhead, and Why? Scripturally based.
Vishnu, Krishna, Narasimha, what?
So if you ever question what is the real truth, this is the call for you.
Yes.
If you ever want to face the truth, this is the call for you. So, no, we're really excited. This is Dhruva Maharaj is a Prabhupada disciple. He lives in Florida. But he's spent his time, he's lived in all 3 dhams. He's an academic. He teaches Srimad Bhagavatam classes. And I can't even do it justice because I don't know his full story, but we're going to try to do it on Tuesday at 7 p.m. We'll put it in the WhatsApp. If you guys can join it, please do. It's supposed to be interactive, and any questions that you ever have can be directed at somebody who's got the vision, who can explain it to you. So,
Yeah. And there will be a moderator as well, I'm guessing.
yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, so yeah, this Monday, this Tuesday, so hopefully you can make it. Any other announcements? No. Okay. Dinner! Yay! Okay.
You guys want to tease the curtain tonight?